Welcome, 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 beautiful people. Welcome back to the Zip Mouth Motivation Show, where we don't just hype you up. We ain't hyping nobody up. We help you see clearly. And that's what it's about, is seeing clearly, seeing clearly. Today's conversation is about something that shapes relationships, leadership, and business influence, but rarely gets named. We're talking about why so many people confuse confidence with dominance. And I know, like, a lot of people, like, well, when you confident, like, you're dominating. No, confidence and dominance is two different things, because loud is not powerful. And I know that people think it is. They think that, like, when you loud and you're boisterous all over the place, that means you're powerful. When you're aggressive, no, aggressive is not secure, and control is not confidence. But we're gonna get into it, because I know some people gonna want to beef with me in my inbox, and I'm okay with that at this point. I'm okay with that, as long as they keep beefing with me in my inbox. As long as they keep doing that, though. I'm just kidding, y'all. But we are gonna break it down, the difference between confidence and dominance. And if you've ever felt intimidated by someone who later turned out to be deeply insecure, this episode will explain why. And I know a lot of us, we feel like people be like all loud and they be aggressive, and then we be feeling like, dang, they making us bow a little bit. You're a little frustrated. You like, dang, why they talking to me like that? Why they handling me like that? But at the same time, you got to remember, those people feel deeply insecure about something. Something in their life makes them feel deeply insecure. And most times it's you. You. You make them feel deeply insecure. So we're going to break it down so that we can elevate into a different space, a different time, in a different place. Let's define the difference first. Confidence. Confidence is internal certainty. Internal certainty. It's like you know it. Nobody don't have to tell you. You don't have to tell nobody else. You just know, like, I'm confident in this thing. I'm confident in this space. Confidence is calm. Confidence is grounded. Confidence is most of all consistent. Does not require permission from anybody. Not one person, not one social media title. No, it does not require that permission, and does not need to overpower. And so that's the thing about confidence is not overpowering anyone or anything or any situation. Confidence just comes in quietly, does what it has to do, and then it's out of there. You don't even realize that confidence done creeped into the space, because you like, wait a minute, wait a minute. Confidence comes in to do work. Confident people don't need to announce themselves. They don't need to do that, because this is just who they are. This is just what's inside of them. Now, when we start talking about dominance, dominance is external control. External. Everything is on the outside. Loud, reactive, needs validation, requires submission, requires submission. Defensive. Dominance says, you will respect me. Confidence says, to prove anything to anyone. It's the difference. Confidence isn't worried about getting your respect, because whether you want to or not, you're just going to respect confidence. Dominance says, I'm going to control you into respecting me. Two different spaces. One is rooted in self trust, and the other is rooted in fear. One is rooted in self trust, and the other is rooted in fear. So you got to ask yourself, when you hear something like that, you're like, okay, one is rooted in self trust, and the other one is rooted in fear. Do I trust myself? Do I trust myself? Because I hear a lot of people saying like I'm dominant, I'm going to dominate, or I'm dominating this, or I'm doing this. Okay, so what you're telling me is you coming in to make people feel some type of way, to make them feel fearful of who you are and what control or defense or reactive or loudness you're going to bring, when all in all you really need validation. That's not confidence. Or do you trust yourself and say, like, I'm rooted in this? I'm calm. I'm going to come in. I'm going to do my job to the best of my ability. If people don't like it, there's nothing I can do about that. But I was confident in doing it and I feel at peace when I walk away. And that's important to figure out in which space you are right now. Are you rooted in the self trust? Are you rooted in the fear? Here is like where society gets it wrong, right? This is where society gets it wrong. And you may agree or disagree. It's okay with me. We live in a culture that rewards dominance. We live in a space where it says dominance is the right way because we going to come in and we're going to control everything. We're going to control, even if it's wrong, we're going to control it because we definitely coming in making people feel fearful. They're scared this will happen if they do this to me. This will happen if they do that to me. I need them to validate me and tell me that I'm great and I did a great job because I dominated. I dominated. We live in a culture that rewards that. Why? Loud gets attention, aggressive gets clicks, chaos gets engagement, and control looks like leadership. I'm going to say it again. Why? Loud gets attention, aggressive gets clicks, chaos gets engagement, and control looks like leadership. So you got to ask yourself, wait a minute. Wait a minute, because who controls me? Who controls me? In what space is someone controlling me? And are they loud? Are they aggressive? Are they forcing me to engage into possibly like an argument or something with them? And do it make they make you seem like they're above you, but they're really not. They're controlling you and making it look like, but in reality, remember when I just said they're really insecure. They really have a lot of insecurities. But because they want to dominate, be loud, be aggressive, force people to engage with chaos. It looks like leadership, but it's not. It's not leadership at all. So people start equating intimidation with strength. And I don't know how many times I've seen this across the board where people equate intimidation with strength. Intimidation is not strength. Intimidation is insecurity. We in two different spaces. When I see someone trying to intimidate someone else, my mind always goes to, I wonder what they insecure about. Because it doesn't always have to be you that they're insecure about. It could be something as simple as their body, their spirit. They could be intimidated by their relationships. But they have to see in some areas in order to control. That doesn't make sense. But intimidation is not influence. And this is a part that we get stuck at. We get stuck in this space where we think that intimidation is influence when intimidation is not influence. Just because you're intimidated by someone doesn't mean that they influence you. I think that I've heard stories before of people feeling like they have to follow this person because this person is very intimidating. They have to control you to do what it is that they want you to do, and then you feel that fear come up because, "Oh my god, I don't want them to tell my business," or, "I don't want them to do such and such to me," and people will say, "No, that's not what it is," and this is why I be telling and I don't know why I thought about this, but this is why I be telling people, like, when it comes to a job and someone calls me and I'm the wrong person to call for this, and they call me and they tell me, "You know what? I'm just gonna leave this job. I'm gonna leave this job today." I'd be like, "Oh, okay." And they'd be like, "Well, you think I should put my notice in? I don't know. Should you?" And I'm not telling y'all to go quit your jobs, but I'm just saying, like, these people will fire you at any moment. They don't give you a 2 weeks notice when they fire you. They just let you go. So why do we feel this intimidation, this control to give them something that they're not giving us? People like, well, you're gonna need that reference to go to another job. Why can't y'all just be honest and say I was a good worker? So they intimidate, and I just want y'all to see the culture. They have a dominance over you. So you're intimidated by them, which makes you do things that you don't really want to do because you know, like, oh, I'm scared. I'm gonna go to another job and then they're gonna say this, that, and the other. Maybe you'll go to another job and you put on the application, I quit because they wasn't treating me right. They was being disrespectful. My supervisor was messing with my time card. It's just a thought. By no means am I telling y'all to walk off your job. That's not what I'm telling you. I'm just giving you an example. Intimidation is not influence, and fear-based respect never lasts. When you're afraid of something or someone, or you're afraid they're gonna do something, or it makes you miserable. That intimidation factor makes you miserable. Like you literally don't want to show up for anything. You ever feel so miserable being around someone or being in a situation and you just like, I don't like this. I don't like this feeling. I don't want to be here. I'm ready to go. You can't understand like why you so antsy and why you so ready to go. It's because you're not happy. You're being intimidated. You're being influenced, and you know something isn't right. You can feel it in your soul. You're like, I know something is not right. I know something is happening that should not be happening. Why am I putting up with this? Because there is something that they're holding over your head as some kind of dominance. People follow dominance because it feels decisive. It feels decisive. And they trust confidence, but they trust confidence because it feels safe. Now, listen to that again. People follow dominance because it feels decisive. It feels like you're making a decision, but you're making a decision out of fear. You're making a decision out of chaos. You're making a decision out of aggressiveness. You're making a decision out of someone being loud and getting your attention. So then you start, okay, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I should. Yeah. You ever be somewhere and everything is like completely quiet, right? Everything is quiet. It's like it might be a vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if y'all go to like art shows or whatever, but it seems like every time I go to an art show, right? Every time I go to an art show, it seems like it's like completely quiet in a lot of art shows. Like you just walking around, people drinking wine, you got cheese, you got like music playing, some soft music playing, and people just having conversation. I promise y'all, it seems like every time somebody walks in who is crazy loud and they come up and they're like, "Oh, I like this. Oh, you seen that?" Or some man come in there like he just like boss hogging everything. He just moving around. How y'all doing? All right, yeah, I like that. Oh, that's a nice thing. Oh, y'all got wine in here. I thought they said, you know what I'm saying? So everybody kind of like looking. Everybody done directed their attention at this person because this person is being loud. This person is being aggressive. Some people are like, I ain't finna talk to him. Other people like, what he got going on? Because you pulling out that chaos that's already inside of them. And this is where we go back to the trauma bonding. Someone can be loud, they can be disrespectful, they can be aggressive, and that could be the chaos that you like or that you're normally used to or maybe that your family gave you. So of course you're gonna feed into it a little bit. You hear me? You're gonna feed into it a little bit. You're gonna look, you're gonna pay more attention to that than what's going on around you. Like I said, people follow dominance because it feels decisive. It feels that way. But they trust confident because it feels safe. So when somebody comes in and they're confident, you looking too, but they're quiet. They come in and you can see them. They got their head held high, chest out, back straight. They walk in there like, "Hello, how you doing? Hey's everybody. Oh, how you doing? Oh, what's your name? Nice to meet you." And that confidence makes you watch, and you just watch, and you like, "Dang, dang." Like I have my cousin Denise. Let me tell y'all. This lady can work a room. And when I say work a room, she can work a room. And you would just have to be in that room to see her do it. I mean, she is just moving around. She's talking to people. It is so much confidence when she's out. It's just like you can't help but watch her. You get distracted from watching her because she just moves around. Not dominating, but just walking up to people politely and saying, "Hello, how you doing? Oh, my name's Denise. Nice to meet you. Oh, let me introduce you to someone." She is a network queen. So that is the thing that she does, but it's not loud. It's just a confidence that she has within herself. And I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful. And not everybody can do that. Everybody, I can't go in a space and work a room. I'm gonna talk to a few people, then I'm not really gonna talk that much because I'm not a big talker like that when it come out in public anyway. So, but it's just the confidence. So you have the dominance, which is loud, aggressive, rude, and then you have the confidence, which is quiet, which is making major moves. But that person who's being rude and chaotic is more. You're gonna gravitate more to them to watch them to see what they're doing because it's like why are you in your mind you're like why are they doing that? Dominance is often a trauma response. It's a trauma response. When someone didn't feel safe being soft, they learned to be loud. When they didn't feel safe being soft, they learned to be loud. When someone wasn't heard, they learned to overpower. They learned to overpower. No one was listening to them. No one felt what they was going through. No one understood. Everybody is kind of like sabbing over what they saying. They're not getting that recognition that they feel that they deserve. So now they have to start overpowering. They have to start being louder than the rest. They have to start being more heard. So they learn to overpower. When someone felt invisible, they learn to control. And I know people be like, that's kind of crazy. Like they didn't feel visible, so they learned to control. Of course, because you are going to see me. I'm going to make you see me. I'm going to control you into seeing me. So what I'm going to do is make myself visible by taking control. And I'm going to control and I'm going to dominate everything around me. But that doesn't per se that is that and that will never make them happy. Dominance is not making happy. Dominance is feeding their ego. But there are times when that ego is not being fed, is where they start being chaotic. Is where they start, like I said before, that trauma starts coming back up. That response to that trauma starts coming back up and coming back out. So dominance isn't strength, it's armor. It's armor. And armor looks impressive until you reveal it exists. So people look good doing it. People like, yeah, I went in there and I dominated and I did this and I did that. And you could see them controlling, and it's like they got like little puppet, what do you call those things? Ventriloquists or whatever, little puppet strings on their hand, and they controlling everybody around them. They making people do things that they normally wouldn't do. They making people act ways that they normally wouldn't act. They making people say things that they normally wouldn't say, whether it's out of fear or it's out of fear, or it's out of the chaotic or it's out of trauma bonding. That's what they doing. Dominance is often a trauma response. A trauma response. And the armor looks impressive until you realize it exists because something underneath feels unsafe. They don't feel safe. They don't feel safe. They don't feel safe mentally. They don't feel safe physically. They don't feel safe emotionally. They don't feel safe. Nothing that you say or do is ever going to make them feel safe until they start healing. Until they start healing. Last week we talked about parasocial behavior. And so I'll use this example. Social media amplifies dominance. If you are not dominant, controlling, chaotic, if you are not that, then you won't get amplified in the social media world. The algorithm doesn't reward wisdom, it rewards reaction. And so I have a lot of friends that do like social media, and me, I'm not, like I said, I'm not really big on social media. I don't care about social media. This is not something that I have to do. I have the radio show that I've had since 2016, so I'm good with the listeners. I don't see them. Sometimes they leave messages, sometimes they don't. I'm good either way. But I know that being a content person, I have to get on social media. But I have a lot of people who do social media, and they're always like, "People don't see my stuff. That was really good. I really worked hard to put that out, and nobody came into my live," and things like that. And I always tell them, I said, "The algorithm does not reward wisdom; it rewards reaction." So now, if you get up there the next time and you talking out loud and you being a little bit aggressive, then people, for some reason, they hear that aggression in your voice and they start dropping into the live. And I remember I had a young lady that I was working with, and she was saying, "I don't know, I don't think that's it." I said, "Okay." I said, "Get on your live, and I just want you to talk loud and be aggressive about what you're saying." I said, "Get up there and act like a preacher if you want to." And she got up there and she was loud, and she said she was kind of like walking around in her house and talking and holding the thing kind of close to her. And she said, "I got 200 people on the live." I said, "That's what it rewards. But it depends on what kind of people you're looking for. What kind of people do you want in your life? What kind of people do you want to be a part of your business? What is it that you're looking for?" Outbursts, they get views. You do an outburst, like people, not being funny, y'all, but people who be crying online, they'll go from having 0 followers to having 6.7 million followers because they crying, fight, cussing people out, being disrespectful. That gets it. Conflict gets traction. If you in conflict with somebody, that's gonna get traction. The algorithm loves it. But the only way that the algorithm really loves it is because they know this is what people are going to watch. This is what they're going to watch over and over and over and over and over again. Arrogance gets mistaken for authority. People who are arrogant, they feel like these people are really good. And sometimes I be scrolling and I be like, what? Like, what? Like, okay. I'm the problem, right? I'm the problem. I gotta be the problem. I am the problem. Some people are wealthy, but emotionally bankrupt. They're wealthy, but they're emotionally bankrupt. What good is it to be wealthy but emotionally bankrupt? You can't take the money with you. Why not live a peaceful life, or why not heal the trauma? Why not control who you are so that you can be a better fit for that wealthy avenue that you're on? Some people are visible but intentionally unstable. And this is the one that makes me upset. This is the one that frustrates me, that some people are visible but intentionally unstable. Case in point, why I don't like reality TV, especially if it's an all black cast. I don't watch it. I don't want to see it because I feel like they depict African American people or Black Americans to be hood, ghetto, wretched, always arguing, always gossiping, always going. I feel like that's the image that they sell us, and that's the image that we draw to because someone else is telling us the news, the media is the dominant. It's dominant. I'm trying to teach y'all something here. I am trying to teach you something. The way people view life is always going to come from a loud, dominant person unless you learn that there is a difference between confidence and dominance. Unless you learn that dominance in most cases is trauma because that person wasn't visible. Nobody heard them. They didn't feel loved. And now they have to control. And they have to control instead of healing the wounds so they don't become emotionally bankrupt. And people confuse success with self mastery, completely different things. Success and self mastery are different things. They are a different space. It is a different time. It is a different arena. Just because you're successful doesn't mean that you have mastered self. It would probably be better if you master self then and then, but sometimes it happens where people become successful. And some people go out and they go ahead and become a master of self, but other people don't. So if you're not a master of self, how can you dominate a lane that has other people? If you can't do, treat, act proper, like if you can't for yourself, how is it that we get so attached to things like that? How is it? How is it? But the loudest voice in the room is usually the most fragile. The loudest person, the most the most the most the person who is has the most chaos in their life, the person who is the most controlling, they are usually the most fragile. When people say, I'm gonna dominate, I always look at them. I always be looking like, why would you want to dominate instead of just having confidence? You don't need validation. If it's in you, it's in you. You don't need for anybody to validate that it's in you. You don't need that. I want you to ask I want you to ask yourself these questions, right? Do I feel calm around this person or controlled? And I want you to think for a second about the arena of people that you're around and think about them individually. Do I feel calm around this person or controlled? And I can remember feeling controlled around people because people, like you meet certain people and everything's cool. And then those controlling, dominant ways start coming out. And it's like, oh, no, I don't like to be controlled. I never liked it. Even as a kid, I don't like to be controlled. You don't have to dominate me. You can just talk to me. We're at the same level. We are the same. We are one. Question number two. Does this energy empower me or intimidate me? And this is a great question for you to ask people or ask yourself when you're around people. Does this energy empower me or intimidate me? Because you want energy to empower you, to grow you, to allow you to grow. You don't want it to be intimidating when you're talking to someone or when you're around someone, or you don't want to feel intimidated. So does this energy empower me or intimidate me? And you have to sit with that when you meet people. Sit with that information, sit with that question. Sit with that when you're sitting around and you're reflecting at the end of your day. Sit with that. Even when it comes to your job, friends, family, anybody, situations, ask yourself that. Number three, is this person secure or just loud? That's a great question. Excuse me. That is a great question. Is this person secure or just loud? And when you start asking yourself questions like this, you start seeing things that you be like, oh man, I need to unsee that. I didn't even know it was like that. I really thought that it was one way, but now I'm seeing that it's really another way. And how did I get here? How did I get here? Oh, I was listening to the My Motivation podcast, and she was saying to ask myself these questions. Another question. Do they allow disagreement? Do they allow disagreement or punish it? We always say this thing, I'll agree to disagree. But you could tell that when somebody doesn't agree with you, that they start acting a little shady with you, that's the punishment. That's them putting you on a punishment. Because you're not allowed to disagree with them because you have to agree with everything that they say because they are dominating the situation. They are controlling the situation and controlling you. Oh, you thought you wasn't being controlled. They're controlling you. So ask yourself, do they allow disagreement? Can we have a disagreement and walk away from the disagreement and say, hey, I still love you. I don't agree with what you said, but I love you. And I appreciate your perspective. Sometimes when people are especially like on TikTok, like I might put up a post where I ask a question and people will come back with their different, perspectives. And I always tell them like they give their perspective, I give my perspective, and I tell them thank you for engaging. Thank you for having this conversation with me. Thank you for the new perspective. Because I may not agree with it. It did make me think like, okay, it could go that way. I don't know. Because that person is really growing me that we can walk away from that conversation and not feel bitterness, anger, frustrated. We don't feel nothing. We just walk away from the conversation like, hey, that was a good conversation. I got something out of that. That was, like that went positively. That was good. You have to ask yourself, one builds leaders, the other builds followers. And I hope, like, I always say, like, man, sometimes, like, when I be doing these studies and I be researching information and stuff, I be sitting down, I be like, man, I hope that I'm not a person that is building followers. People always tell me, they like, "What am I sure?" I don't be seeing you get a lot of likes on your posts. Yeah, because they be in my inbox. They can't like it. They don't want nobody to know that they're going through that. And I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. Because my goal is not to build followers. I don't care about followers. I care about building leaders. I care about building people that can think for themselves. That when they walk away from a conversation with me, they are at home and they are processing what's happening around them. That's what I care about. Because I'm tired of seeing people let people think for them. I'm tired. Everything that I teach it's I say it slow and I say it in plain language, and I hope that you're taking notes. I hope that you're taking notes. I hope that you are saying to yourself, I'm about to write this down. And sometimes that's why I repeat things. I repeat them for people who are taking notes because it's important. Don't just let me say anything to you. People be getting upset with me because as soon as they tell me, "Oh, well, such and such said this and that didn't work out." I say, "Well, did you check into it?" "Oh, no, I just figured." No, 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 no. I don't care who it is. Don't let nobody tell you anything. Don't let anyone dominate you as a person. As a person. One builds leaders, the other builds followers. I did a podcast a few weeks ago that we are not sheep. We are not sheep. You are not a sheep. You don't have to follow somebody, and you don't have to agree with everything that they do. There are tons and tons and tons and tons of people in this world that just because you don't see them or you don't hear them, it's probably because they're not being dominant. They're being confident. They know what they know. And so you are following the dominant person and you follow them down a black hole. It's not adding up. It's not adding up. It's not adding up. Real confidence doesn't rush. It doesn't rush. It's smooth, it's sailing. It's like the music playing in the background. It's like relaxing. It's just taking you into another space. That's what real confidence does. Real confidence doesn't have to be in charge. Real confidence doesn't even have to be seen. Real confidence doesn't rush. It doesn't threaten. And real confidence is not going to compete. Who cares about competing? It's me against it's me. If you doing the same thing I'm doing, well, whoop they do. Whoop they do. Do it. I know sometimes like I'm talking to my children and I know they get this from me because I'm like this. And I will be telling them about something that's happening, something going on that has nothing to do with them or whatever. And they'll be like, and I'll be like, well, what you think? They be like, Mom, like we don't even care. And I just giggle because I know they get that from me. Because sometimes people are saying things and I'm thinking like, I don't care about that. Like I don't even know what you're talking about for real. That has nothing to do with me. It's not directly affecting me. It's not going to change anything. No child is being hurt. No elderly person is being hurt. Nobody's getting abused. That has nothing to do with me. I don't care. And when you say stuff like that, people think you're being rude. They're like, "Yo, you being rude." But maybe sometime you not worrying about that and just being confident in the space that you in, you won't end up being a follower, but you will continue to be a leader. Confident people do not need to dominate because they trust themselves. No need for dominating. I trust who I am. I trust the process. You trust who you are. You trust your process. Confident people lead without fear. Not afraid to be a leader. And if I'm the leader, then I should be teaching you how to be a leader too. Yeah, of course. In the beginning, you're gonna follow for a little bit because you have to learn how to be the leader. It's almost like I tell my clients sometimes, like, listen, when we get down to like the last 3 sessions, I start letting their hand go. I start telling them more and more every single session, you could do this. You're gonna be fine. You've been doing a great job. What have you learned? What kind of, like what are you taking with you? What is your feedback? What are your quote unquote takeaways? I just don't like when people say that. But what are your takeaways? I started pushing them out more and more and more. And I started pushing them out because I don't want them to keep trying to hold my hand in order to make it to their next level. You no longer need me anymore. How does someone go? I'm not what you need. You at the next level. We've gotten you to the next level. You've been with me for 3 to 6 months. Sometimes they stay for you. Everybody learn differently. But after that time, that's it. We cutting because you got this. I believe in you. You have taught yourself everything that you needed to know. And I've asked you all the powerful questions to open your mind to get to the next level. And you are about to take off. You don't need me. Let my hand go. And you know how like sometimes your child will be holding your hand for no reason. You be like, let my hand go. That's how I be. Let my hand go. You got it. That's confidence. Confidence that they have did what they needed to do. Confident people, they speak without force. It doesn't take me putting you down or making you feel bad, or it doesn't take all of that. It doesn't take none of that. I'm not speaking with force. Like y'all heard me say 100 times in my videos. I said what I said. You could either respect it or not. You could either go or stay. It's black or white. You have a choice, but I'm not going to force you. I put this information out here. You do with it with what you will. You do with it what you want to do with it. I have no control over that. Confident people, they listen without feeling diminished. They listen without feeling diminished. I think that's hard for people. Sometimes people be so jealous and so rotten and so dominant in the inside, in the spirit. They don't want nobody doing better than them. How? How that go? They're not listening without feeling diminished. Every time you talk about your achievement, they feeling some type of way. You could feel it in the gut, and you could feel it in the gut of your stomach that the energy doesn't shift. But you still trying to be happy. But they trying so hard to make you feel that negative energy that they don't want you to feel happy. They want you to feel like, you can't do better than me. Some of y'all be crazy. Some of y'all be crazy. That's not confidence. That is not confidence. Confidence, they gonna listen without feeling diminished. They gonna be when my friends do something great, I'm excited with them. I'm so happy. I'm feeling like I'm the one got the reward too. I don't care what it is. I'm excited for them. I'm happy. Yes, good. You won the lottery? Well, listen, I need $20, and you take the meal and go on about your business. I don't feel diminished. I'm not saying, oh well, you know, hmm. Well, I don't care. That's emotional intelligence. That's leadership. And that's the space that we should be wanting to be in. Confidence is quiet, but it is secure. Dominance is loud and it's afraid. Y'all hear me? Confidence is secure. Dominance is afraid. As it my motivation, we do not glorify control. We build clarity. I say it again. As it my motivation, we do not glorify control. We build clarity because it's important for not only me to be clear, but for you to be clear, and for you to be clear, and for them to be clear, and for auntie, uncle, cousin, nephew, niece, all of them, for them to be clear, not to be controlled. Control does not get you anywhere. The strongest people in the room don't need to overpower anyone. They don't need to overpower anyone. They already know who they are. They already know who they are. They don't need you to tell them who they are. They don't need you to put on the facade and act like you know who they are. They don't need any of those things. They already know who they are. They already know. If this message resonated with you just a little bit, make sure that you share this message. Make sure you tapping in every Tuesday to 101.5 Indie Radio. Oh, Vibe Radio. We changed the name. Vibe 101.5 Vibe. Make sure you tuned in. Make sure you look for all of the shows, not just one show. Look for all of the shows. You have the ability, you have the gift, you have the mindset, you have everything that you need. You can be confident. You don't have to not be confident. You can be confident. Click the link in the bio. Click the link in the bio. Order the 7-day guide. You can't find it there? Go to Domasha K, Domasha, Katrina, Katrina. It's in that link. First link you see on the top of my page. Follow me on Zip My Motivation LLC. Definitely follow me on TikTok, ZipMouth21, Instagram, Coach Domasha Katrina. And I definitely follow back. I don't know. Sometimes I don't see the follows. I have to go into my little list, but I definitely follow back because y'all know I go against the grain. They tell you to decrease your friends so you can get more followers. That shows you I don't care nothing about no followers. Because how does it make sense mentally to decrease your friends? What they have created is dominance. Dominance says you're not good enough. You can watch my stuff, but I can't, I don't feel like I need to watch your stuff because I'm higher than you. Example after example. Point after point. What's your 2026 goals? To find clarity and confidence or to be afraid? And you literally get a pick. Make it, you get to pick your choice, whichever one you want to go for. Make sure you lock in with Takaya Divine Teas. Go to my Facebook page. The link is in there. The website is Takaya Divine the Healer. And if you can't remember that, just go to the Facebook page, Takaya Divine. Click on the link. Make sure you get you some teas. There's some programs in there. It is a lot of things happening this year so fast, but I appreciate you all. I appreciate you all with the deepest part of my heart, my mind, my soul, and my spirit. I thank you for continuously listening to Zip Mouth Motivation. And I got a treat coming up for y'all real soon. I got a treat. I got a treat. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got a treat. Thank you for tuning in to the Zip Mouth Motivation Show on 101.5 Indie Radio every Tuesday at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. I appreciate y'all time. I appreciate y'all love. I appreciate everything that y'all offer. I thank y'all. And good night. Thank you for tuning in to the Zip Mouth Motivation Show.
Hey. Zip Mouth, let's get it, let's talk to each other. Elevate, divine state, let's boost each other. Conversate, no matter debate, we learning something to stimulate a greater state. Now ain't that something? Got it covered like gravy, a smothered chicken. The intellectual driven by streams and pathways to uplift. What seeing life different becomes the way of life. Finding your inner peace and shining like beacon through the motivation. Get you moving to go and discover new things. Zip Mouth, the doors wide open, let's elevate the game. Stimulate the brain with ways to build bridges and live some better days. Motivation is all I'm saying with Zip Mouth.
Thank you for tuning in to the Zip Mouth Motivation Show.